What is up? I am back with another video after quite a while. This season, I just hit Master 1 with Labrynth, actually. I did a Labrynth profile at the end of last year, but since then, we recently got new support, which makes the deck way stronger than it used to be. Because it used to be kind of trash, but now it's one of the best decks in the game. Here's the deck profile. So I'm playing a more of a furniture labyrinth, or called IKEA labyrinth, as some people call it. It plays the Torby and Chandelier, which got popularized relatively recently as people started seeing the pros and cons of actually playing these, and that they're a lot better than people had originally thought. 'Cause before, people were just playing like a bunch of floodgates, but as it turns out, using them as disruption and as a resource engine is very helpful. So getting into the deck profile, we have 3 Ariana. It's the only normal summon in the deck, so I still think playing 3 is probably good. We have 3 of each of the Chandeliers, so Chandraglier and Sovi Torby. These guys do the same first effect, which is to send themselves from hand or field to graveyard and discard any other card and set a Labyrinth spell trap from hand or deck. Now it seems like that's a minus at first, but the second effect makes up for it. So if a monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect, which is a common theme among the Labyrinth archetype, the Torby will special summon itself, and the Chandelier can add back to hand. There are a couple other furnitures that exist in the Labyrinth deck, but they suck compared to these two, and also the Coup Clock. The Coup Clock is a one-of that I'm playing. It allows you to, if you discard it, you're allowed to activate any normal trap card that was set this turn as long as you control a Labyrinth monster. This is very valuable for setting up on turn 1. Sometimes you can actually rip a card out of your opponent's hand by using Lovely Labrynth. It also has another good graveyard effect, which synergizes with the other furnitures. So if you set a card from hand to the graveyard to activate your normal trap card or your Labyrinth card or effect, you can special summon this card from grave or add it to your hand. So this allows you to basically turn on your big welcome, which I'll get to in a minute, but yeah, it's very helpful and allows you to activate like Dimensional Barrier on your opponent's turn when you set it. Because if you don't know what your opponent's playing, you might want to wait until their turn to set a normal trap of your choice. You have Lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, of course. The deck's greatest brick, you're going to draw it, but it is what it is. I mean, you can pitch it off of Torby and Chandelier, which is not the worst, but the card is extremely good, so you still have to play it. And the second effect, the first effect technically, the opponents cannot activate monster effects in response to the activation of your normal trap cards, is extremely helpful, especially in the mirror match, as we will see. And then obviously you can reset any normal trap from your grave on your turn, including D-Barrier, which is especially helpful because there's a lot of Tearlaments and Branded running around. Now we have one of the new cards, Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. This card is absolutely broken. 3000 attack, 2900 defense. It's level 8. While you control a set card, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects or destroy it with card effects. So it has Dragoon protection while you have any set card, which makes it extremely hard for a lot of decks to deal with. And the other effect is if you've activated if either player has activated any normal trap card or effect or a Labyrinth card or effect, you can special summon it from your hand. So even if your opponent's going first and they like normal summon Ariana, that actually turns on your Lady of the Labyrinth. Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. And the other effect is when a normal trap card is activated, again, if either player activates a normal trap card, and as a quick effect, you can set a normal trap with a different name directly from your deck. So that's obvious why that's extremely powerful. You can set any trap of your choosing from your deck. It does have to chain directly in response to your opponent's trap card, though. And so, yeah, what I was talking about before was in the mirror match, if your opponent if they summon Lady on your turn, and you try to activate like Welcome or Big Welcome, then they can chain their Lady to set a normal trap. But if you have Lovely Labyrinth up, they actually cannot do that, because they cannot respond with monster effects. So, yeah, the mirror match is pretty technical, pretty difficult, but I've actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Because, I mean, people before were like playing Eradicator, but a lot of people just dropped it because it's actually really not that good. At least there's not much Runic running around. So with the furniture builds, even if you do resolve Eradicator, you can actually lose. That happened actually quite a bit. My opponents would like focus on Turboing out Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and then they would be on no cards, and I would just have Lady on board, and I would just clobber them with a 3k beat stick every turn and still win. So I cut Eradicator completely, and especially with like Tier running around, it's not good. And so our other engine cards, we have Welcome Labrynth, of course. A lot of builds have cut this card down to 2. I didn't really agree with that at first, but after trying it out, I think it makes a lot of sense because the other Labrynth trap card, the new one, is significantly better, but the fact that Welcome can reset itself from grave makes it, I mean, it just keeps coming back, so you're not really going to need 3 of this card. So now we have the new trap card, Big Welcome Labrynth, also an incredibly broken card. Special summon 1 Labrynth monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, then return any monster you control to the hand. So if you have Lovely in graveyard, if your opponent gets rid of it, or if you discard it off of your Torby, you can always get it back with Big Welcome Labrynth. And the graveyard effect is also ridiculous. So if you control a fiend monster, you can banish it from your graveyard and target 1 monster you control to bounce to hand. Or if you control a level 8 or higher fiend monster, like Lovely or Lady, you can target any card your opponent controls and return that to the hand. Though you can only use 1 of the card's effects per turn, and only once that turn, it's still extremely valuable. Not just to bounce your opponent's cards, but also to bounce your guys and trigger the chandeliers and keep your resource engine going. And I'm still playing the 1 of Field Spell. If you have this, it's a huge advantage in the mirror match, but also in most other matchups. The secondary effect to Reborn from Grave is also extremely good. If you activate something like D-Barrier or Imperm, you can just Reborn any of your dudes or special summon them from hand. And then for non-engine, we have the Bestials. Like I said, there's a lot of Tier and Branded running around, and also in the mirror match, these cards are pretty solid. And the fact that Big Welcome can bounce them back to hand is pretty good. You can just keep reusing them each turn. And they are big, and they hit hard. And yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about them. I think it's good playing these 3. I was playing Saranir before, which you might see in 1 or 2 of the replays, but I ended up cutting him because, I mean, these 2 are the good ones. Baldric is like okay, but I think you should play these 2 at least. And then we have the Master Duel attacks, 3 Max C, 3 Ash. It's just as good as it ever was. 3 Extravagance. So before, I think I might have been playing Prosperity in the previous build. I don't exactly remember, but yeah, Extravagance is very good also. Because like with these cards, like just having more cards is just great. Even if they are dead cards that you have to discard with these, just having access to more cards is very good. Then 2 D-Barrier. D-Barrier is definitely mandatory in this format. I might even bump it up to 3, honestly, because it's just so good. Like in every matchup that's not the mirror match, it's broken. It's absolutely broken. It can win the game by itself. Even in the mirror match, it's not like the worst card, because like the nice thing about this card is you can activate it at any time, unlike your other ones like Imperm, Ice Dragon's Prison, Terrors. They all require your opponent to have like a card. But D-Barrier can just be used at any time. You can just call anything, ritual, whatever you want, and then you can use that to trigger your Lady in response. Then, yeah, Ice Dragon's Prison, very good against Tier, very good in the mirror match, and I mean, it's very good in basically every matchup, so also highly recommend playing this. It's also a good way to like I mentioned before, Lady Labrynth cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects while they have set cards, but Ice Dragon's Prison is a non-targeting banish. So yeah, I think this card's also probably mandatory as well. Heroes of the Overroot, I've kept this card in. It kind of underperformed this season, but the fact that it can generically remove any card, and not just monsters, I think is a big plus. Skill Drain, because it's Skill Drain. Goes in match, so I was trying to play Rivalry before, but I think it's kind of mid in this format. At least goes in match. I mean, goes in match is also hit or miss. You don't have to play this card, but I also did play against a decent amount of Sprite, and I think this card went in decently well. And then for the extra deck, I was kind of on a budget with this because I didn't have many gems throughout the season. But you should definitely play multiple Entis if you have it, because of Extravagance, obviously. Skull Knight, Garura. I was playing Dogmatica. Oh, okay, I remember. I was playing Dogmatica Punishment before, but I cut that actually because, like I said, I was running into a lot of Tier, and against Branded it kind of sucks. In the mirror match it sucks. It's just kind of a not that great this format. But yeah, if you do have it, then definitely play a multiple Intis if you decide to play Dogmatica Punishment. So other stuff, Baguska, rarely, I don't think I ever made it. Maybe like once. Aggregators, another punishment target. Zeus. And then, yeah, these guys you will make to some extent. Muckraker is newly released since the last video. This card is very good generic Fiend support. It can just reborn any of your dudes. So if you have like... So the thing about Ladies, it summons in defense when it uses its own effect. But you can actually use Muckraker to revive it in attack position. And it also can protect your Labrynths from being destroyed, or any of your Fiends from being destroyed by battle or card effect once. Yeah, now the Nightmares, I would play the full Nightmare suite. They do come up occasionally. Not super often, but they are Fiends, so you don't have to worry about them conflicting with Welcome Labrynth. And they're just generically pretty solid. Access Code never made it. Honorable Goddess is a Fiend. I think you might as well throw this one in there if you have it. In the extremely rare case they might make it. I don't think I ever did, but it's nice to have. Bucephalus is if you play Dogmatica Punishment again. He's a big guy, he's 3,500, and then when you send him, you can send Garura and then get the draw, but I'm not playing Punishment. And with that, I will get into the replays. Now for the first replay, we will have me going first against Dark World. Not the best hand, obviously, because true, you know who. But activating any Labrynth card or effect does allow you to special summon Lady, which is a bonus. So unlike the Floodgate build, you're not going to be setting 5 usually, like almost never. You're going to be setting like 1 or 2 probably, sometimes 3. So Dark World is a pretty annoying deck. You can just spam a bunch of bodies and just put a lot of damage on board if you aren't able to stop them. But at the end of the day, it's not very good. Okay. So he just starts spamming dangers, summoning his dudes. Okay, now he makes Dugaris. Dugaris is one of their best cards in the extra deck. That allows him to get a lot of advantage. So here I use Big Welcome, because his deck doesn't play really any hand traps. They don't have space for it. They gotta have cards that they want to discard. So Big Welcome, Chain Lady. I said Ice Dragon's Prison. And I summon Lovely from hand, because it can summon from anywhere. Bounce to hand, and as part of the field spells effect, I pop Dugaris, and then I activate Lovely. I decided to get a card in his hand, because what I'm thinking is, I've played this deck before, and he's going to have to use like this, Talents or something, or commit to Saryuja and try to draw 4, but I have Ash for that. So he does try to draw 2. I mean, it's arguably incorrect to do Ash here, but I went for it. So he goes Muckraker. Summons his dude from grave. Muckraker, they also play it because they're all Fiends. He discards Grapha, which is annoying, but he pops to Lovely, which is the wrong choice, as you will see. You definitely should have popped this. Okay, so then in end phase, since I used a Labrynth card or effect or a normal trap card, at any point I can just summon this from any point. So I just wait for him to attack because I don't want this to get destroyed. So I summon it from hand, and now on his turn, he is in big trouble because I have Big Welcome's Graveyard Effect live. I have this, I have this, I have everything, basically. Even though it doesn't look like I have much. Ice Dragon's Prison, Chain Lady. Yeah, I mean, the thing with this is, you kind of have to read your opponent's delays. If they have a delay, you might want to be careful, but when you use stuff, because they might be able to block Lady from activating. But here he doesn't have any delays. Ice Dragon's Prison, Banish, and this has a double whammy, I guess, because it gets rid of that and also triggers the Labrynth, because I activated a non-Labrynth trap. So I can summon Lovely from grave. Then I can use Big Welcome to bounce the Muckraker. Lovely to hit a card out of his hand. I'm not worried about this being on field, because I'm just going to reset the Ice Dragon's Prison. So I want to hit something out of his hand in case he has, like, I don't know, card destruction or something crazy. I have Gozen, which is not good in this matchup, but it is a card. So I just start off with Ice Dragon's Prison. I saw he's playing Talents, so I'm just going to do this all in draw phase. I don't want to play into Talents for no reason. And so then I go Lovely. pop a card out of his hand. They cannot really do anything with 2 cards, like almost ever. Unless they have like the specific combination of cards, like Genta plus another Fiend. It's the only time they can do anything, but I'm just gonna get rid of the field spell using my field spell. And like I said, I'm not summoning Ariana here because I don't want to play into talents, so I just pop it. And because they can't do anything with 1 card. GG. This next match was pretty crazy against Branded. This time I'm going second. My hand is like pretty solid, but he has this full Branded combo. I'm just gonna fast forward through it because I don't have any interruptions. I do have a furniture, but I'm gonna hold it for later. Just to see what he does. Summons Rinbrum. Rinbrum allows him to basically bounce his Magnum back to hand. I don't think he does do it, but it is a thing they can do. Okay, so yeah, he ends up ending on this instead of Mirror Jade. I mean, this is a different... It's more like a Bestial Control type of end board, but... I mean, Rinbrum is very annoying because he can summon Albast from grave and then fuse at any point when he's in grave. The Searcher's Druid's Realm in his end phase, I discard the regular welcome to set Chandelier. Or to set Big Welcome. Extrav is a good... Well, I mean, I already had it, but yeah. Okay, so then now... Banded Regained is extremely annoying because it allows them to keep getting bodies every turn. So in this case, I see that he chooses not to use his... What he should have done here is chain Branded Beast to pop my Ariana in response to this so that I can't use Lady. But I do that. Add back Ariana. Do this. He super polys me, which I wasn't really expecting, but they're on super poly, which is extremely annoying. So I pop the Branded Beast because I don't want him to have that pop every turn. So now I actually do set 5 for once. End phase. So I was playing Solemn Strike at this time. And Punishment. But, I mean, like I said, I changed deck list quite a lot throughout the season. So I summon... I start this in draw phase. I get rid of the Magnamut. Uses that. The Regained. And then Saronir to get rid of my Torby. I do have D-Barrier, but he does have a lot of bodies, so it is a little scary. But now I want to get rid of the Regained, because he's going to get to like draw every turn and summon dudes back, and it's going to be impossible to get rid of his field if I don't get rid of that. And so now I activated a non-Labrynth trap card, so I can summon the Lovely back from grave. He is also playing Blended Loss, of course, but that's fine, because I do have I do have D-Barrier. So here, yeah, so I use Punishment. Send Entis. This was a big mistake by me, actually. So, Rinbrum, I didn't properly read it. So you can negate any Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, or Link Monsters effect. I just assumed that it was, like, I didn't really think about it, but you can also negate the Graveyard effect of Entis, because it's a Fusion monster. So I should have just done Chainlink 1 Entis, Chainlink 2 Lovely, but I made a mistake there. So he negates it with Rinbrum. But I do chain D-Barrier. I do have D-Barrier, so I'm just going to use it now. So I don't want him to negate and then bounce one of my cards. So then Lovely hit the last card out of his hand. Aliber comes back, which is whatever. I'm not going to use my Solemn Strike yet. I'm going to use it now, I think. To keep my Lovely on field so I can keep resetting D-Barrier. And he scoops after that. GG. Here we have a showcase of the mirror match. The hand is not great, unfortunately. Discard one of my Max Cs. Set, summon. He uses his own Max C, which is annoying. So in my end phase, he uses his Chandeliers. You can kind of tell that you're playing the mirror match if they have a delay like the entire time. It's probably a furniture. He chains his Lady. So I Max C here because I really need the draw, even though it's only one. So I draw a Coup Clock here. I could activate it and then try to use big welcome, but that would allow him to set with this lady, so I'm not going to do that yet. Sometimes you do have to suck it up and activate a trap card and let them set. Like I think I do in this case. But if I had done it on my end phase, it would have been much worse, because then he would, yeah, I mean, you know. So he goes max C. I use both, uses his big welcome, and I chain my lady to summon. Didn't really need to use it there, but... And I pop his other set, which is the welcome that he just set. Torby adds back. Here I'm going to imperm to basically trigger my own lady. I don't think he had anything that he could use there. I mean, he might have... Oh yeah, he should have used Kill Clock in response to imperm, but he wasn't really thinking about it. Yeah, this mirror match is a little tricky. Here I think I was playing Eradicator, if I remember correctly. I think I said Eradicator, but as you'll see, it's not that great. It doesn't win the game here. So he sets the field spell, which is good to have in the mirror match. Attacks over lady, which is fine. Okay, so then he starts using this. So I go Eradicator. I only hit, like, I hit nothing, basically. He already using this, the evenly's not doing anything, so I didn't really hit anything. And he's in an advantageous position, so you probably should not play Eradicator. Skill Drain is not the best draw, but I'm just going to discard it, so... Whatever. Gonna add Clue Clock. I'm going to special summon it. So I want to use my own big welcome to proc my own graveyard effects. So now I have Chandelier back. I can at least do something. See, again, like, it completely whips off the Eradicator. He drews Extravagance. Here I do think I hit the traps. Yeah, I got lucky with these, but... Battle phase, he attacks. I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to use this yet. Not until I have a way to get rid of whatever he sets. Okay, now it's my turn to get Extravagance, the Royal Rare. Draw 2, that's pretty good. Got Ariana finally. Okay, now I'm going to go Coup Clock. I'm going to set Big Welcome. Now I'm going to let him do this because I have the field spell. I'm just going to destroy whatever he sets. So it's fine. He sets evenly, which is okay. Cool. Then I trigger Lovely. Pop the Extra, which I knew about, I think. Okay, so then I crush the ladies because now I'm ahead. I know he has evenly, so he chooses not to use it here, I think. Or no, he didn't have Coup Clock, so he couldn't use it. So now I set another Eradicator, but I mean... Probably should have just set Big Welcome to pop whatever was in his hand. That's fine. So he has Prosperity. I'm just going to nuke his hand. And then use the field spell. Pop. And now there's no way he's coming back. So we got there eventually after some misplays. GG.